Okie dokie. So, for this week, I guess the easiest way to do an analysis, I'm not going to do it on the current market price just because that I personally wouldn't be trading this right now. Where was my trade at earlier? I was in a trade earlier. Where was that at? It was somewhere here. But, let me see. I don't think I'm in it. I took this one on my smaller account. Let's see. Let's see if I'm still in it. I'm 90%. I'm pretty sure I closed it. I can't let y'all see the password real quick, though, so give me a little second right there. Let me log in real quick. Oh, it should be. Okay, it's already there. Let's see where the trade was. This thing takes forever to load. Well, we'll come back to that whenever it's ready. I don't want to waste time on that. I know I took a trade. I have a little $3,000 account that I've been trading on. And I was in on a trade on that one earlier, but I don't remember where. I know I was just in here in this vicinity. But it looks like if I held it, it would be in profits. But I'm pretty sure I closed it. So let's just get back on topic. Okay, so I mean, realistically, I want to show you guys actually because I'm pretty sure my analysis was right. So I'm saying this because I will do a top-down analysis then. The shit will fucking load, dude. This is one of the downsides about Forex.com. Compared to TastyFX, their user interface is not nearly... They have their perks, don't get me wrong. Like, they give you better interest. If you have more than, I think, like 10,000 bucks in your account, you get interest. But, that's cool. Once you get to a certain level of awareness, they have a partnership program, but I'm not even qualified for that yet. So that's another cool thing. But honestly, going TastyFX to Forex.com, it's kind of a downgrade in my opinion. Just for this reason, I'm not even able to fucking log in right now because it's still loading. It does this thing where when you log in on the computer, it has like you need to verify the CAPTCHA or whatever, and that takes forever. All right, but pretty easy. Let's just say the market was right here. Right, let's say the market was right there. That looks kind of around, more or less, where I was at. I think I got in like this. Pretty sure I got in like here. And then I just didn't like it being in drawdown so close to my stop loss. So then like the second I think it was like this. This was my setup right here. I got in, and then it put me in drawdown, and as soon as I got back into profits, I exited the trade. But we'll go ahead and we'll break that down because right now I wouldn't have gotten stopped out, and we would be in profits. So we'll go ahead while this loads. I'll pull up the actual trade in a minute, but while now, so for this example, right, let's say that you missed, well, I'll show you my markup first, and I'll show you the correct way to do it, right? So pretty much when I came on here, it was really simple. Where was it at? Yeah, it was right past New York session, open. I just drew a fib right here. And then I entered, like I said, probably as soon as we broke above, I'm pretty sure I entered in right here. And I'm saying this for you, Gabe, specifically. I'm going to act like you're the only person on here right now because I'm talking to you. So I'm not going to go into like a full in-depth bottom-down, top-down analysis just because we don't really need to look at, you know, what is the trend. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you're a little bit more advanced than that. But if you feel like you do want me to go and re-explain everything, then I'm more than happy to. But whenever I get on the computer, this is kind of like just the general concept of what I go through, where this morning, let's say the market was right here. right? The market's right there. The reason why I went in on this trade was for a couple of things, right? Number one, right, if we're just going to look at our oscillators here first, number one, we have the stochastic crossover with the extension, right? That's very important that we have the extension on the stochastic, right? If we look right here, you see how we're extending past around 30%. We're pushing past that, the white line's above. Good analogy, I mean, good signal right there, right? As well as the RSI is starting to wean up or point up in the upwards direction as well. If we want to consider anything divergent, we could say this is going down. We could say this is going up. So we could say bullish divergence there. So off already we have, I'd say 2.5 points, 2.5 confirmations right there. Right now we added in the fib. Why do we draw it from that position? Because this is the most recent low where we formed a new swing high. Okay, so pretty simple. So now we draw this here and we look at where the current price is, and we'll go in a little bit more in depth on here or in here. Okay, now if we look here, right, the biggest thing that I want you guys to pay attention to on why we would consider this a Fibonacci entry, right? The main thing I want you guys to look at is this right here, right? That is what's known as a wick, okay? And obviously we all know what a wick is on a candle, right? It's the high price and the low price of that candle, right? But the main thing I want you guys to pay attention to is this, right? How we had very strong bullish candles. We had 3 strong bullish candles, and on that third one, right, we lost momentum right here. Where did those wicks start? Pretty close to our 78/81% area. Okay, and now this is what's known as a deep retracement zone, and the deep retracement zone, really it's just the third likely area that the market will go when it's making a retracement, and it is what's known as the premium discount. It's the most off price. It's the biggest discounted price that you'll get in a retracement move. Okay, so taking that into consideration, right, we had, again, now to recap, we had the stochastic crossover, we had the RSI pointing up, we had divergence, bullish divergence, we have the fib hitting, or we have price hitting our retracement zone on our fib and rejecting. So those are all bullish signs that we could get in on the market, right, and that we could enter this trade for buys. Right, so let's just say, for example, we didn't want to miss that trade. Or let's just look for everything else as well. This is on the small time frame here, too. We'll go to 5. Nothing there. Hit a demand zone there. And that's really nothing either. So the only thing we have right now, so I'd say that we have a 3.5 point trade. And look at what happens because I took a 3.5 point trade. Right, we got in. We did really, really good. And then it came down into drawdown. And it was just consolidating there for the entire day pretty much. Is right now, is you'll see it's right here. Okay, so what I'm getting at for this example is even though, yes, I had 3.5 points on this trade setup, right? What ended up happening is it didn't give me confidence in what I was doing, necessarily speaking, right? Because, I mean, I could have just changed the target, but I didn't even have the high target. I only had 30 pips, right? So the market came in and gave me, as soon as like we entered, it gave me 20 pips, right? Which is still a very good trade, but I didn't close it. I didn't take any partials. I didn't move my take profit level. I didn't do anything, or my stop loss level. I didn't do anything. I just took the trade, right? And as soon as I entered it, it went really good, so I got off my computer. I come back like 2 hours later, and it's a negative, you know. So I was kind of like, okay, what happened? What's going on? But I noticed that it was still supporting right here at this 81% discount area. So this support area was holding, and it was like, okay, well, we can still. I don't need to close the trade in a loss. So what I ended up doing is I just waited for it to come back into profits. And as soon as that happened, I did close the trade. Do I regret doing that now as of this current moment? Yes, right? But, okay, I would rather be comfortable not going through this in a trade than the potential idea of me making money. So in that sense, and I'll read your question in a minute, Gabe. But that's why I decided to, okay, well, even though it's back in profits, I'm just going to close it anyways. That way, the biggest reason for me doing that was, what time was it at? Yeah, I was like working. I'm busy. I'm doing calls with students. I'm building a whole new platform right now for Cashflow. And, if you guys are in the Discord, you'll kind of notice that it looks a little bit different because we're not going to, big announcement, right? But I'm going to announce this more in the future. We're going to be switching over to a different ecosystem in the next, few weeks, right? So that's something to be looking forward to. But I have a life and I'm busy and I'm doing stuff. So I didn't want to be in that trade any longer. So I closed it. Back at it now. Again, where are we trading at right now? If I would have held it, we would have stayed in profits, and we would be in profits as of this current moment. Again, 22 pips, and I would have been able to have the opportunity to close it with $22 or not $22, 22 pips in profit. Right now, I'm trading. If it's a risky trade, I'm trading around $5 a pip. At a normal trade, I'm doing $10 a pip still, so I'm averaging around $200 to $300 per trade. If it's hitting 20 to 30 pips, right? So right now, I could have closed it for 220, but I don't have the opportunity to do that, right? So now let's just say we got on the computer and we were like, damn, dude, we missed all of New York session. What are we going to do, right? So let's analyze the market right here, right now, how it's currently looking. And before we do that, let me read Gabe's question. So what makes you trust in it being bullish? Markets like this make me hesitant because it's bouncing between zones and direction doesn't seem clear. So 100%, bro. So the markets right now are very wonky, and they're going to continue to be that way, right? So don't make the mistake of avoiding it thinking it's going to get better, because it's not, right? And as we're speaking, this shit's exploding, right? So I'm going to tell you guys how I knew it was going to keep going up right now in a minute, right? But I wish I did this a little faster, so that could have been live, but same thing. But to answer your question, bro, so what makes me trust in it being bullish? Right now, as of this current moment, dude, I'm not going to lie to you, the headlines have it, right? The headlines matter a lot more right now than, and I said this last week, the headlines matter a lot more right now than they did, 6 months ago, right? Ever since Trump became president, bro, it's going to continue to be that way, right? Because he's going to continue to instill new monetary policy, new political policy that's going to continue to cause turmoil in the market, right? So the reason why I still have an overall bullish outlook on this pair entirely is because of everything going on with the tariffs still, and because of everything going on in the economy, right? Where Powell is still talking about potentially cutting down interest rates to combat inflation, and that inflation is supposed to be combated by tariffs, right? So all of this is just a bunch of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? And fear, uncertainty, and doubt, it does what? It causes instability in the market, right? So now we gotta, and I think this will help you right here, bro. Disassociate Euro USD with the market, okay? The market is not Euro USD, okay? Euro USD is a representation of half of our market in the US, right? So the market for us is the stock market, is the bond market, it is the dollar, right? It is interest rates. That is what the market is. And if we're talking even more clear, okay, when people are saying the market's going down, typically that has to do with inflation and interest rates, right? And now that is what basically every single news report is measuring inflation and interest rates. Inflation is combated by interest rates, and low interest rates create inflation, right? So it's like a synergy of yin and yang where they both cause problems for each other, right? So now, again, the reason why I'm overly not biased, and I don't even have a bias, but I'm just doing what it's doing, right? And I would say that's a very important thing to take into consideration for trading now moving forward, is don't trade, and I say that, and I've said this before, is don't trade what you think the market is going to do, just trade what the market is doing, right? Because if we trade what the market is doing, it gives us a better opportunity to, again, not trade biasly, right? So the reason why I think that we're going to continue going up, though, is just because of nothing's changed since last week in regards to political tensions, right? So do I personally like Euro USD being this high? Honestly, no, because I feel like it needs to come down, right? I feel like it just needs to go down at a certain point. But the question is, when is that going to go down? And I can't answer that, right? So instead of me predict what's going to happen, why don't I just trade what's happening, right? So that's my answer as to why I trust in it being bullish, right? I trust it because it hasn't shown me a reason for it not to be bullish yet, right? If the indications and, you know, the confirmations and all the other things that I use end up saying, hey, we're going on a free fall, then I'll start going to a bearish bias, right? But on the 8-hour, on the daily time frames, if you go, so this will help you if you're listening still. If you go to like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, you'll see when I on Euro USD, and you'll see when I analyzed the daily time frame on DXY, and where I predicted it was gonna go, and what I predicted was gonna happen, right? So where this move that I was analyzing before technically is finished, right? I analyzed there was a triple bottom head and shoulders here basically, and I said that we were going to target these previous highs right here. These previous highs got taken out already, right? As you can see. So where is the next highest price, bro? I don't fucking know how high this thing could go. We haven't been this high since 2022, right? And now if we're looking back farther, right, we had a good trading period from 2020 to 2022 where the market was significantly higher than where we are right now. Is it gonna go that high again? Hold on, let me send this message really quick. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Alright. Hold on, let me just do this real quick. Alright. But, this keeping sure. But, Hannah's going to get something from outside. We ordered some food, so she's going to grab it, but gotta make sure she don't get kidnapped, you know what I mean? Right, so what I was saying is the market could go back up to this point, but the likelihood of it doing that, I can't even tell you the likelihood, right? It's just that there is room for it to go higher, and is it going to go higher? There's a good chance that it will, solely due to the fact that there's still uncertainty and doubt for the next 2 months until Trump finalizes his tariffs, right? He just announced like 2 days ago, actually, that he's going to put a 225% tariff on China, right? And he just announced that it was going to be 100% last week. So now he's saying 200% fucking percent on a tariff, right? And so again, that's a lot. You know what I mean? So in that sense, you just got to be a little bit aware. Months are going to continue to be rocky and be uncertain, right? So now where we're at currently, it looks like there's nothing but momentum right here, right? We're looking at the daily time frame. I don't see any reason for this to come down except to do what? To make a retracement, right? That's what I would say it would do, is to make a retracement, right? So, you know what I mean? I wouldn't, but here's if I'm being honest with you, right? We could sit here and draw a fib from boom there to there. You got to pay attention because the gold zone's right here. And we could say that the market is going to come down from where it's at right now, come down to this gold zone, and then continue up. Or come down to this orange zone and then continue up. The reason why I don't like doing that, bro, and the reason why I don't like analyzing higher time frames to get a better bias, right, is because if we just look, we don't even need to draw the fib. We can imagine where these zones are, right? Bottom, top, retracement zone 1 is around 25 to 33% lower. So it's around right here, right? Let's just say it's right here in this area, okay? Let's count how many pips away that is. 400 fucking pips is the retracement zone for the daily time frame, okay? So it's not worth it, is what I'm basically getting at, bro. It's not worth trying to stay confident in the trend. You know, yes, the trend is your friend until it bends. Yes, bro. But on a macro time frame, there's really no point, bro. Unless you're swing trading, which we're not, right? And I would never. I mean, granted, you would have got some pips if you would have if we would have did a swing trade on this move that I did analyze weeks prior time. That's a $10,000 trade, right? If it's 900 pips times $10 a pip, that's $9,000. You know what I mean? Yes, that's very good, right? So I wouldn't complain, but I'm not a swing trader. So what I like to do to stay confident in my setup, bro, is I like to analyze what the market is doing, not what I think it's going to do, in that order. You know what I mean? Because I would love to see it continue, feel like it needs to go back down. But if it's not going back down, why sell? You know what I'm saying? So I know that sounds kind of contradictory in itself, but really that's the answer. Because I understand being hesitant during times like this, and especially if you're coming off of a little losing streak, or like I know how you said you took only one trade last week and you won that trade, which is great. But that's why I said you got to trade, bro, because that hesitance won't go away. And that's the reality of that situation. It doesn't go away, bro. If anything, the longer you wait to start trading actively, the more hesitant you get, because then you start telling yourself, "Oh fuck, bro, I don't even know what's happening. How am I? You know, how could I? You know." You set yourself up for sabotage, bro. And if it's bouncing in between zones, let's go now to the next part of that. Because the first part is hesitance, right? To overcome the hesitance, you just gotta do it, bro. And the easiest way that I noticed myself overcome that fear of being wrong, or that fear of not knowing what to do, one, remove the feeling that you need to trade. Remember, I told you that before, bro. If you feel like you need to trade, don't trade. If you feel like you need to take the trade, don't take it, right? Or if you feel like, oh my God, I'm missing the trade, don't fucking take it, right? Just don't take it. If you feel any sort of emotion attached to your trade, except I don't even like saying excitement or abundance or positivity, because, you know, that has nothing to do with trading. But on a realistic level, dude, if trading's a business and we're entrepreneurs as traders, it does matter a lot. I do like coming into the market with a positive outlook and, you know, saying that I'm happy, I'm blessed, I'm grateful that I'm going to be able to trade today, I'm able to make money today. It is very important to do that, but you're not connecting, you know, the emotion to that. You're putting emotion there, but you're not attaching the result to the emotion. You're attaching the feeling to the action, if that makes sense. You're excited to be trading. You're excited to be here. You're grateful that you're a trader. You're grateful that you have the opportunity to make money. But you don't attach the gratefulness and the excitement and that abundant energy. You don't attach that to a winning trade. You don't attach fear and anger and sadness to a losing trade, right? You just don't. You don't attach any emotion to the result. You attach you connect emotion to the action, right? So the action that you and all other traders to do in order to trust themselves more and in order to become more confident instead of, you know, concerned about their trade, is you just gotta fucking trade, bro. And that's the realest answer I can give you. You just have to do it. And if you don't feel confident to do it with money, it means, one, again, now stop trading for money. It means that if you're trading, if you're scared you're gonna lose money, the fuck you don't trade with real money. Either one, don't trade with real money, or just remove the emotion of making money. Remove the expectation of making money. And that'll make trading a lot easier when you start trading to just be a good trader. And again, and I know it sounds so cliche and corny, but Ollie, bro, I'm here to make money. I get it, dude. But you can't do that until you have those prerequisites checked in place. Bro, I've lost some big ass fucking trades, bro. You know, I was having a conversation with someone. Who was it? I forgot who it was, but he was in my house the other day. He was asking me probably one of the biggest trades I've lost, bro, or been in, like the most amount of drawdown. Dude, I was in like $6,000 or $7,000 of drawdown for fucking months, dude. At one point, because I took a bad trade and I didn't want to close it. And this was like a year ago, dude. So this is, you know, active me, and because I have multiple accounts, right? So this is when I built up a lot, bro. It was like almost $30,000 I had an account, and I had a big ass fucking, you know, I over leveraged a little bit, but what am I going to do? You know what I mean? What's the point in getting upset or scared? You know, I didn't lose the trade, thank God. You know, I ended up closing with a break even, but after months, you know, I spent probably like $400 or $500 on swap fees. And that was still a very mentally draining and concerning thing. And it, you know, made me question myself, think, bro, what the fuck just happened? All this and that. But what did I, again, when you boil it down, what did I do wrong? I didn't put a stop loss, and I risked too much. Is that the market's fault? Or should I hesitate because of that? Should I be fearful because of that? Or should I just follow the rules and trade without expecting to make money? Why did I trade without a stop loss and with more risk? To try and make more money, right? It wasn't to be a better trader. It wasn't to win extra trades. It wasn't to be a better mentor to you guys. So that was a selfish reason attached to money. Right now, when I show up, bro, I don't even look at it, dude. I literally have $10 a pip. I have $10 a pip. I enter the trade. I'll put a 15 pip stop loss and a 45 pip take profit, and I fucking leave. And that's it. I just take the trade, win, lose, or draw, bro. And I try and take a trade every single day. I try to. I don't do it every day. I try to take a trade every single day if the opportunity shows itself. If it doesn't show itself, I'll get discouraged in the back of my head thinking, damn, dude, I didn't make any money today. Right, you know, I didn't trade today or whatever. But then I pat myself on the back right afterwards, because then I say, wait a minute, isn't my goal to just be a good trader? What's the best thing that a good trader can do? And ask yourself that. You know, what is the best thing that a good trader will do? That answer is not trade, right? Only amateurs, only beginners, only newbies feel the need to trade. You might as well be gambling, right? And I have some people on here that are sports bettors. You know, I'm not even say bettors, they're gamblers. You know what I mean? And you cannot carry that emotion into the market. It just doesn't work that way, right? And it'd be awesome if it did, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? So at that point, the best, even though, yes, I didn't make money when I don't trade in the mornings, or yes, even if I only trade. So this is how you see both sides of perspective, bro, where it's like, yes, you want to trade every day instead of trading once a week. But if you only trade once a week because there is only one good setup, that's awesome. You know what I mean? That means you were disciplined. And by being disciplined, it means you weren't hesitant, right? Because if you were hesitant, you might have taken an extra trade you weren't supposed to take. Or since you didn't trade Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you would have hesitated on Thursday when you had a good opportunity because you were like, oh man, I didn't trade these last few days. Do I even remember what I'm doing? And then you would have snoozed, right? So yes, you're supposed to trade every day as active as you can, but not by force. Not because you have to, just because you should. But that just means if you shouldn't, then don't. You know what I mean? So that answers that first half. And then the second half is when it's bouncing between zones. I did want to touch up on how you mentioned that. When it's bouncing between zones and direction's not clear, right? I get it. And at that point, look in a smaller time frame, right? Because if you're, again, analyzing an hour zones, it just can't happen, bro, sometimes, right? And especially right now, the market's been moving a lot. I talked about that last week as well, that right now, in 1 hour, let's say, for example, on a normal week, the market would move, 20, 30 pips in an hour, right? It's still a lot. Right now, though, when things are moving, bro, it's moving like 60 to 80 pips in an hour, which is fucking a lot. So you might, if it's moving in between zones like it usually is, you just got to kind of start looking for other things now at that point, right? The zones are the key factor, yes, right? Let's say you're trading in between 3,500 and 4,000, right? That's a 50 pip gap, bro, right? In between there. So let's just say price is bouncing in between those gaps, right? You can find entries in between, but you're going to have to look a little smaller, right? So now if you drop down in the 15-minute, you might actually see, okay, well, price is bouncing between 3,500 and 4,000, but honestly, it's probably ranging in more so between 3,500 and 3,750, which is a 25 pip gap. And now in that 25 pip gap of consolidation, you can maybe squeeze in, I would probably stick at the 15. You can maybe squeeze in on the 15 and look for candlestick patterns. Look if you see any market structure patterns. Look if you see any, what are your oscillators saying at that point? What's the stochastic? Do you have any divergence? Do you have, any extensions? If you look You know, where's the EMA line at? Are we trading above or below the EMA? We're breaking above the EMA now. That means we're probably going to continue bullish, right? Let's see what else we have really quick, because we're trading between zones now, right? This would fucking be confusing. Close it out. You don't need to look at it, right? This tells me what I need to know. We had a break of structure. We have a weak high. We have a strong low. That's a very good confirmation, right? So, and this is actually a perfect example right here, bro, because look at where the market's been consolidating. Let me, there we go, okay? Let's look at exactly where the market's been consolidating right now, bro. And we're going to use a ray to identify. It's the exact prices I just said. This is actually a perfect example, right? So let's just say, and then we'll do this top-down analysis together. This is a perfect example to answer your question, bro. 1, because I don't know where it's going to go right now. 2, we are bouncing in between prices. 3, I have a little bit of hesitance right now because I closed my winning trade earlier before I made any money. That bothered my head a little bit, right? So all those situations are situations you described, and the market's in a wonky position right now. So it's a perfect scenario to see what's going to happen, right? So I literally said 3,500 and 4,000, right? 4,000's up here, right? So like we could have said, oh, bro, we're trading between these zones this whole time. This whole thing's trading in this zone. But if we look a little closer, okay, let's add another one. What's below 34 or 4,000, right? The nearest one would be 750, 3750. Okay, now this looks a little cleaner, right? It looks a little cleaner, I think, personally, in my opinion, right? Even though, yes, you know, we're still having, you know, breakdowns and breakups above and below the zone. Yes, that's true, but why don't we stop looking back here now, and let's look right here. Let's not look forward. Let's not look backwards. Let's look right here, where the market's currently at. What's it actually doing right now? Let's look a little bit closer, zoom in a little bit. Get rid of the indicators. Now we just have this. We have a bottom, we have a low. Where is it closer towards right now? Off top, it looks like it's closer to the top. It looks like it's closer towards the resistance area, right? We just broke through that resistance area, actually, live, right? So, let's just say we didn't know that, though. Let's put it back a couple minutes. Let's put it back right here. Okay. What I would do, a couple things. 1, I would look at my zones. I have my zones marked up. Okay, awesome. We're trading heavy resistance, heavy demand, psych zone, whatever you want to call it. We're trading near it. Okay. Let's look a little closer. This right here, we have a doji candle at this resistance level, okay? Now, more importantly, it's a spinning top doji candle, right? The reason why that's more important is because it means that this is happening. At this price, this is happening. On a micro level, at an institutional level, at a lot of money level, they're ping-ponging the price right here, okay? That means that there is interest for price to go up, okay? And that means that there is deliberate force keeping price down. What do you mean by deliberate force, Ollie? What is this right here? Where did that big sell candle just come from out of nowhere? It means a lot of people probably just sold, right? Why would that many people sell right here if people are wanting it to push up, right? To collect a better price for entries. That's what liquidity is, okay? So, that's a little side topic, though. But I'm talking about the doji candle right now. Just to show that there's interest in this price. There's interest in that price, is what I'm saying, okay? Now, number 2, let's zoom out a little bit. That's our candlestick pattern, right? Me, I'm not the biggest candlestick guy or the biggest market pattern guy. But when I see them, I use them because they work. Right, I don't base my strategy off of them, but I will use them to help give me more confidence, okay? So, here's a trend line, right? And we don't really have a top trend line, but we have a resistance, okay? Now, what does this look like, guys? In my opinion, that looks like an ascending triangle. Right? It looks exactly like an ascending triangle. What is an ascending triangle? An ascending triangle is a bullish continuation pattern. Okay? A bullish continuation pattern, right? Now, how do we confirm? Let's count it. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to break out and continue. Okay? That's my analysis. That's my prediction so far, right? And this is off the top right now, okay? So we already have one thing. Doji candle, trading near whole number zone, ascending triangle. We're good. If you want to consider Elliott wave theory or Wyckoff price cycle, again, drive 1, drive 2, drive 3, drive 4, extension, right? If you want to use fucking, you know, what did I just say? I just said Wyckoff and then ABCD or Elliott wave, same exact thing. Elliott wave is the exact same thing. It's just a pattern. It's just a drive of 5 is what it is. So gives us even more confirmation. Okay. Now, right. So what else can we use? I don't want to be a candlestick pattern trader, man. You know, I need more stuff. What else can we use? Okay, no problem, guys. What else can we see right here? Right. Again, let's just look. We're gonna look right here. Okay, in that area, right? High, low, high, equal low, high. Oh no, I'm sorry. I would say okay. Let me go back. That way, this is actually more specific for you. That I'm not just fucking around here. Okay. High, equal low, lower high, higher low. Higher high, right? This high is higher than that previous high, meaning this is what's known as a break of structure, a bullish break of structure, right? So for those of you guys that know me as a trader, what comes next, right? Now that we have a bullish change of momentum, right? We have a beautiful opportunity to draw a Fibonacci retracement, guys. So we'll take it from the bottom, we'll put it up, right? Where did this hit? Now let's look at the move. Let's look at the move. I see a lot of blue candles, and it went up really fast. I would say, personally, in my opinion, in my years of trading, in my experience, I would say that this movement looks more like this than it looks like this. Wouldn't we all agree? I would say that this looks more aggressive. I would say it looks more impulsive. You know what I mean? I would say it looks a little bit faster than this movement. So, taking that into consideration, what retracement zone is it going to go to? Right? If we have an aggressive move, is it going to go to retracement zone 2, the gold zone? Retracement zone 3, the premium discount? Or is it going to go to retracement zone 1 and then go up? Right? It's going to go to retracement zone 1 and then go up. So, what exactly happened? Aggressive move? Where were we trading? Right here in retracement zone 1. What happened right then and there? So now we have retracement zone 1, ascending triangle, doji candle. We have the trading near the psych zone with doji candles. Like they're both in conjunction with each other. The fact that you're getting the doji candles at the psych zone is the confirmation, if that makes sense. You wouldn't really consider like trading at the psych zone a confirmation. You know what I'm saying? If there weren't any candles, for lack of better words, or market pattern things. You know what I'm saying? So you put it together when you just kind of see it, right? But now we have 4 confirmations, okay? We want to add more, okay? This isn't ready to come down yet, even though it looks like, oh, well, Ollie, it's pointing down. It's pointing down. Yes, but we're not in the oversold area, meaning it still has room to go up, okay? So I'll count each one of these as half a point, right? I'm sorry, I'm not even showing you guys. Sorry. This right here. This isn't, both of these I'd consider half a point because there's still bullish momentum up. So we're currently at 4.5 points on this trade setup. What else can we see here, guys? Okay, cool. We're getting near consolidation. Look how tight the bands are getting. What does that mean, guys? The tighter the bands are, the bigger the move is going to be, right? Based off of all the other signs and all the other things that we've just gone over, if I was a betting guy, if I was a trader, I would probably trade for buys, right? Because of all the other things that we have in our favor, right? So the fact that the bands are getting tighter, and we have an ascending triangle, we have a doji candle, we're near a psych zone, we have, you know, room to grow on the oscillators. What else do you fucking need? You know what I'm saying? Now let's just keep adding stuff though, because we want to be safe and confident, right? We're trading above the line. We broke above the EMA. Now we're retested the EMA. Now we're going to continue above the EMA line. Perfect signs, right? If you go look at the OG, or not the OG, but at the OG Bollinger Band videos, look at all these sell signals we're getting. A repeated amount of sell signals means that you're buying. Okay, and if you go watch the Bollinger Band video in the Forex course, you'll see what I mean by that, right? We'll count that as an additional confirmation. Now we're at 5.5 points. Okay, no, we have Bollinger Bands 1, EMA 2, so we're at 6.5 points now for this trade. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's look at this one. This one doesn't give me anything. It's useless to me and it's kind of confusing. Okay, so we'll get rid of that one. Perfect. Let's look at this one now. All right. This is the one thing that is giving us fear, because it says we're at a strong high. We haven't had to break a structure yet. Let's go to the 15-minute. Money, right? On the 15-minute, says we have a weak high, right? 15-minute always matters more than 5-minute, right? So that's another confirmation. We are now at around, let's just call it an even 7. We have a 7-point trade going on right now. We have a 7-point trade, right? So if it was me, fuck, dude. Sometimes I hate. Okay, back to the 15. Since this would have been the best entry. Right here, boom. Enter in the middle. Stop loss right around there. Or I'll put it right above that zone. Because we're doing the 15 or the 5-minute. And we'll target. Let's just make it a 3-1. Boom, there's a trade. Right? But since we don't have the opportunity to get in right there, right then and there, let's put it on the breakout. Oh, Ollie, I missed the retracement zone, bro. Where do I enter now? Where do I go? All right, no problem, bro. You missed the retracement. That's fine. Okay, if the fib is valid and the trade is valid, it's gonna go up either way, right? So now let's just trade another strategy. Instead of trading the fib retracement, let's just trade a break and retest, right? We have everything else laid out. Let's just wait for the break. Right, and we'll enter on the break. We can enter on the break or enter on the retest. I personally don't like waiting for the retest because at the time you won't get the retest, and you'll lose it, and you'll miss the trade. Not lose it, you'll miss the trade. So I would rather take the trade, and if it comes back down to my entry, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So what I would do now is let's wait. And while we were all mumbo jumbling on this call or learning, we got the confirmation. Look at this. And so this is what happened right now, right? So there's probably so many buyers in the market, right? And look at this fucking liquidity dump, right? Look how perfect. This is a beautiful trade example right now, dude. Why? Because look at how many people probably just got stopped out in this trade. You know how many other people, I'm not the only person, you know, that is seeing this setup. I'm not the only person that is analyzing this trade right now, right? So I'm sure there were other people that decided to buy here, like down here. And everyone that missed that entry is buying. So where are they going to put their stop loss? Probably around where I put mine. Right? If they enter on this break, let's just imagine all the orders around the fucking world, okay, that had a buy order set for when price broke this resistance, supply zone, triangle, liquidity zone, whatever they want to call it. A lot of people probably had a buy order set right there, okay? So, meaning, and now if we're analyzing a smaller time frame, most traders probably don't have a 15 pip stop loss. They'll probably have a 10 pip stop loss, right? Because if they're scalping, right? And most traders are probably going to aim for then at that point, maybe 20, 30 pips. So this is probably what their trade looked like, right? And that's why I like adding in, that's why I like using the fib levels for the stop loss area. You put it just below the next one because the fib zones are what? They're liquidity areas, okay? So what exactly happened? The market broke out. Oh, yes, the market's going great. Yes, yes, perfect, perfect, perfect. And then it came and it probably did a little stop hunt right there, right? So we weren't talking. The best opportunity we could have gotten for this trade would have been down here. And right now, we would have been already 22 pips in profit. Right? So since we're not, right now we're trading at right here. I would still consider this a good entry. Right? Look at that. We're pulling back up already. Matter of fact, guys, I think I'm gonna take it. Since we had a smaller group on tonight, we'll go ahead and we'll do this. I'll give you guys a little treat, and we'll take the trade live. Win, lose, or draw, though. Win, lose, or draw. We'll see how it goes. Ugh, this fucking doesn't log in, bro. If it doesn't do it, I'll just log in on my phone, and I'll just show you guys like this. Yeah, retesting the 3752 area. Man, dude. The amount of patience I've developed from fucking technology, dude. 19-year-old me would have punched a computer, you know what I'm saying? Now, we just let it be. We'll do it on our phone. Alright, we'll close that out. Let me log in real quick. 0216. Come on, I want to get in. Let's drop down in the 1 minute. Yeah, that was literally a liquidity dump right there, guys. In the flesh. Alright, so we're in. We're in. Okay, so okay, not my main account. Let's go to the second account. All right, so right as of right now, you guys see this account. So I have two accounts. That way you guys see. But this account, I'm up 62 right now. I'm just under 20K, in that account. And then in this one, you can't see shit. Sorry, guys. I thought you could see that. This is the one that I'm going to be taking this trade on. This is a little $3,000, almost $4,000 account. We started this account with a little over $500, not that long ago. So it's insanely good growth. But now we're going to go take the trade, go to the setup. We're going to go to Euro US. We're going to click buy. Come on, dude. I don't want to get a bad price. The spread's high as fuck right now. 50,000. And I want to get a good spread. No, it's moving. Whatever, fuck it. We're in. I'll go in for you guys. We're in the trade. We trade filled. So we're in the trade, right? I got in at a bad price though, unfortunately. But I wanted to do that way, you know, I just show you guys how it goes. I wish I could have waited. I wish I did this, you know, 10 minutes faster. No. All right, so I'll update you guys right now. I mean, so that was me. So straight up, Gabe, that was my top-down analysis on this to answer your question, right? Because again, am I gonna be right? Who knows? Am I gonna be wrong? Maybe, right? But I couldn't let that uncertainty stop me from analyzing it and trusting the analysis. The biggest thing is just trusting the analysis, right? If it's wrong, it doesn't mean I'm a bad trader. If I'm wrong, it doesn't mean that the strategy is bad. If I'm wrong, it doesn't mean anything aside the fact that I was wrong. That's all it means, bro. Right? So, for this example, though, it was the exact same thing that you just said, right? How do I know it's still going to keep going up? I don't, right? Are we trading in between zones right now? Yes. And is there a clear direction? No, right? But based off of the math and based off of the previous trust that I've built with this strategy over the past 3 years, solid trade. It's a solid trade setup, right? Is there things that are going against us that could make it sell? Maybe. You know what I mean? If you look hard enough, you'll always find you'll always find something. You know what I mean? So it really just depends, you know what I mean, on your risk tolerance. You know what I mean? We're not risking that much money. You know, if this trade ends up losing, I'll lose. And I'm going to put it at where I would go. 15 pip. I'll put my stop loss right around there. 15 pip. I did this one at $5 a pip. It's not shit, bro. What's up? $15 on 15 times $75, bro. Honestly, and if it keeps going down, I'll take a bigger loss, dude. What's it gonna do? You know what I mean? What is 3%? I have $3,700 in that account times 0.03. That's $111, bro. You know what I mean? So I'll risk 100, you know, if I needed to. But now we just gotta wait and see. You know, so at that point, that would be my analysis that I just did, bro, would be my answer to your question. I know I already answered the question, but that way you could, you know, I'd rather do it for you live instead of just tell you in concept. So that would be how I would do it in a real situation. Right? And now when I'm trading by myself, I go through that whole concept myself, bro. I go through that whole thing myself. I just do it a lot fucking faster than most people do. So I'll do this entire analysis, go through the same emotions that everyone else goes through. I just do it faster. You know what I mean? And you build that not because you want to do it better. You can only analyze faster and analyze more confidently, not because you want to. You only do that by doing it. And that ties back into the first thing we said, right? You know how long, bro? From when I first started, you know how much more advanced my confidence and my system is and my entries are compared to my first live streams that I would do fucking 3 years ago, bro? I was watching some of my old live streams the other day because I was editing them. And I'm thinking, damn, dude, you know, it's crazy how far you come so fast. Even if I'm not rich, bro, or whatever yet, I know I will be, but I'm saying is just because of the concept of trading itself, right? Because I'm telling you, bro, I went through that exact same period of time where, for example, I didn't lose, or I got scammed out of a broker a lot of money, you know, almost $30,000 I got scammed out of. That fucking destroyed my reality, bro, for a while, right? But now, again, I had music, bro. What the fuck does that have to do with me trading? What does that have to do with me analyzing? You know what I mean? If I ran it up that much, that means I'm a good trader. You know, just because something bad happens, that doesn't mean stop trading. You know, so the confidence that I have now, bro, I only got that. I don't even know how many trades I've taken, dude. How many live streams I've done. You know, and I had another conversation with, he's one of my mentors, actually. But we were talking about, he was asking me, how many calls have you done? Like trainings about your strategy in the past year. He was like, you think you've done, you know, over 100 hours? And I thought about it, and I was like, dude, I've said this shit probably over damn near 1,000, you know, in the last year and a half, you know, just the last year, actually. I 100%, bro, I told him, dude, 100 calls, bro, you know, 100 hours, of course, bro, I fucking done that. You know what I mean? Easy. You know, so then that's why you're confident in what you do. You know, it's not because you just woke up one day and decided, you know, you're going to be a better trader. It's I woke up one day and decided to be a better trader. How? By trading. How? By losing. How? By trying. Right? And that's it. How did I become a better mentor? How did I become a better teacher? How did I learn how to explain this in an easy to understand way? I feel like it's an easy to understand way. Sometimes I've been told that, you know, I do a little bit too much explaining, right? But I'd rather over-explain than under-explain. Either way, what I'm saying is, though, how do you get to that point, right? I've redone the course, bro, like 4 times as well, okay? Because, and then we'll end the call trading in the concept as where just continuously grow, right? Don't sum up your 1 month of education as the end all be all of trading, right? Don't sum up your 1 week of bad losses as the end all be all of your career. You know what I'm saying? Because if you did, you'd be nothing but a loser the rest of your life. And I'm saying that because that's what I had to tell myself, bro. Why would I end my journey on a loss? What sense does that make? You know, unless it's like something bad, you know, then you obviously want to quit when when you get the chance. But in regards to trading, I love trading, bro. I have a passion for it. I love doing it. I think it's fun, you know, so I might as well get good at it. You know, I'd rather be a good trader than a bad one, you know, if I'm going to be doing it forever, you know. So in that sense, bro, you gain the whole thing about what I wanted, really, the main thing I really want to just hammer in for tonight is that you don't get better until you get better, and you don't get better until you start doing it, right? And when you start doing it, you'll get better, right? So in that sense, right, this week's about to be over, right? Look how fast time goes, bro, right? This month is already halfway over, right? The year is like 35% done, almost 40% done this year, okay? And we've already been working with each other since 2024. You know what I mean? So it's really just, you got to get a grip, bro. And I say this to you because I feel time slipping through my fingers sometimes as well, in regards to life and business and trading as well, right? So you need to come those emotional roadblocks and those mental roadblocks, because they're not going to go anywhere. That's the fucking God honest truth, is they're not going to go anywhere. You're always going to have the hesitancy, but here's the difference, bro. The difference between me now, being hesitant now, and me hesitant 3 years ago, is I have confidence now in my strategy. I have confidence in my numbers. I have confidence in my trading system. I have confidence in myself. So even if I am hesitant, still fucking do it. You know what I mean? So, and then I was just having this conversation. His name's Mike. You guys are going to meet Mike a lot more as well. We were just talking about it yesterday when he was at my house. Talking about Michael Jordan or like any athletic person. We were talking about Michael Jordan, though, where it was like, do you think Michael Jordan would get nervous, you know, when he would go to a free throw line, you know, in front of thousands of people on TV? And then I was like, oh, bro, probably not. You know, he's Michael Jordan. Why would he get nervous? And he said, no, I'm sure he got nervous as shit. I'm sure he got nervous every fucking time he had to do it because he's Michael Jordan. Clown him and tear him up, right? But he's more confident in the fact that he would go shoot 1,000 free throws by himself. So at the moment when it matters, even though you're nervous and you're hesitant and you have this fear, you have confidence, right? You don't have, you're not conceited or you're not cocky or anything like that. You're confident. You can fake cockiness. You can only gain confidence through experience, right? And now if I spend, you know, a bunch of time losing every single fucking trade, you know, and being wrong every day, I probably wouldn't be that confident. And I probably wouldn't be here teaching you guys, right? But the fact that the numbers don't lie, and I'm a good trader. So at that point, you can have confidence in that fact, where it's like, you're not, I'm not going to say I'm fucking Michael Jordan, but I'm not going to say that. I'm not comparing myself to him. Right, but it'd be like, okay, you have confidence, like, let's say you're learning from him on how to do a free throw, and then person B is learning from a high school dropout that played basketball for his freshman year, and then he made some YouTube videos on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? About how to do a good free throw. You know what I mean? Who's gonna shoot better, bro? You know what I mean? Who's gonna do better? Wait, and actually, now I'm saying that myself. The answer on who's gonna shoot better is the one that actually practices, right? That's the one who's gonna shoot better. Right? Doesn't matter what you fucking watch at the end of the day, right? And here's a perfect example, right? Me and anyone else that's watching this call, right? I didn't have a really good mentor. I didn't have a Michael Jordan in my corner. I didn't have someone to tell me shit to learn how to trade. I had to go through the works to learn how to trade. Versus someone else that signs up with Q Banks, for example, and, you know, they don't do shit with it, right? What's the difference? Right? Is it, you know, how am I doing better than someone else that had closer proximity to a multimillionaire? How? Right? Because it doesn't matter what you fucking have. I'll end it with this. This is a perfect quote, okay? It doesn't matter. This is for trading, business, life, personal development, everything, okay? It doesn't matter what resources you have in life. It matters how resourceful you will be in life. I'm gonna say it again, okay? It doesn't matter in any field of venture. It doesn't matter what resources you have in life. What matters is how resourceful you are in life. Okay? Just because I didn't have any info, bro, I'm telling you, bro. And I sound like because I bought courses, but I bought them. You know what I mean? I paid for them. I went through them. I went through the works. And I had no one to fucking help me. Okay? Why the fuck does it matter if someone else has every single ace in the hole, but they're not doing shit with it? Who's gonna win? Me. Every fucking day of the week, bro. You know what I mean? Not because I'm better or I'm smarter, but it's because I'm more resourceful, right? Even though, you know, that's all you gotta fucking say, bro. That's all it is, dude. Is just use what you got. And you can't use what you got if you're not using it. You know what I mean? So you have a good program, you have a good strategy. All of you guys watching this, right? Even if you're not a Cashflow student yet, join the program or don't, whichever one, right? I have my entire strategy on YouTube for free if you just go watch my old live streams, right? You'll figure it out. Again, why? Because I already told. That's the thing too. I'm completely open with my strategy. There's not a single thing. I'm in this trade live right fucking now from the exact same strategy that I've been using publicly live for forever. You know what I mean? I don't hide any of it. Why? Because there's nothing to fucking hide. Because again, you're not gonna fucking do it. You know, so even if you aren't a Cashflow student yet, you can go learn the entire, because I gave you the resources. But are you gonna be resourceful enough to go use it? Probably not, right? So instead, I made a program to make it even easier by giving you even more resources, right? And more tools and more strategy and more breakdowns. But all of those tools are useless, those resources are useless if you're not going to be resourceful and use them to trade, right? So that's going to be the end of my little TED Talk, man. And towards you and towards everybody, and myself included, right? The only way we can grow in life is by growing, right? And the only way we can grow is by doing, right? So whatever it is, let's just use hesitance for this example, or fear of losing. The only way you will overcome that, I promise you, bro, it is from trading. That is the only way you will overcome that. No, and even if, you know, because I know you're a Christian as well, bro. No amount of prayer is gonna fix that. You're gonna pray, ask for guidance, ask for peace, and God's gonna put you in front of a chart. That's how it works, bro. You know what I mean? Wake up and then I'm ready to go. You just gotta fucking do it, and then by you doing it, you get those emotions. You know what I mean? So that's that, bro. And we'll talk a lot more about this in depth whenever we get on our call with each other. But I wanted to end the call off with that before I just keep yapping. I'll update you guys about this trade tomorrow morning in the Discord group. But for all the other members that are not in the Discord group, I will be updating you guys about this trade next week on next week's episode of CashflowTV. Right? So with that, guys, I hope that you were all able to gain some value. I hope I was able to, to explain, one, answer the trade question, two, give you guys just some better insight about, one, why we took the trade, and two, how you guys can start taking those trades on your own as well. Mentally and physically taking the trades, right? Update you guys about how this goes. This isn't right either. Let me put this right where it's supposed to go. This is supposed to be 45 pips. Make it a 3-to-1. There we go. That's the setup right there. Okay. So, with that, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys do know where to reach me. You guys know where to find me on social media. Shout me out on social media if you guys gain some value, right? It does go a very long way if you guys do post me on the gram, right? I'm trying to grow my brand slowly but surely. We're growing it, right? So, shout me out, tune into next week's session. Make sure you're tuning into the Discord every day. And with that, guys, that's all I got for you all. I'll update you guys about how this trade goes. It looks like we're pushing down in price a little bit. So all we can do is wait and see what happens, right? And if we lose it, we lose it. If we win it, we win it. And if we break even, we break even, right? But with that, guys, God bless. Have an amazing rest of your night. I appreciate you all hopping on and staying on this long. And I will see you all at the top because the bottom is way too freaking crowded, guys. God bless and have an amazing night. Peace.